What's good? It's Jay Jones here from Kick Genius, and today, as you can see, we have the Li-Ning Way of Way 2. From what I can tell so far, it's a pretty decent shoe. I'm excited to have it, but you know we're going to get into our basic drills, our basic routine. Other than that, I'll let you guys know how it performs later. Enjoy. So we're back in the studio, and I'm glad to give you guys my final thoughts on the Li-Ning Way of Way 2. As far as traction goes, it looks to me that you have your storytelling traction pattern. Pretty sure it reflects the town over town, and I must say the traction wasn't good for me at all. I have personally never experienced a shoe that picked up this much dust this quickly. As we cut back to the traction test, as you can see here, I was slipping every time I was trying to make a plant with each foot. And this wasn't an exaggerated move here at all. I actually had to slow down some when making my moves to avoid myself from slipping. As you can see here, I did the same thing outside, which I must say performed a little better, but again, I wasn't applying a lot of force here either. To me, in my opinion, if the traction is bad, then there's not a lot that the shoe can actually provide for me. But overall, with the traction, I wasn't impressed at all. Now let's get into the materials. I'm going to try to break this down as much as possible to help you guys better understand it. As far as the leather that's applied to the shoe, I did enjoy it. It really is high quality leather, and you can tell right away that the designer put forth a lot of work here. It was definitely good to experience something like this, as it is not found in other model shoes that we hoop in today. However, I must say that the shoe did start out very stiff. I mean hella stiff, which is kind of contradictory to the premium leather. So I know what you're thinking, Jay Jones, how is that possible? A good example here is a baseball glove. I also used to play baseball, but this is a good example because, you know, once you buy a new baseball glove, it's not as adaptive, or it doesn't get that same good feeling that you had with your old baseball glove, but eventually it starts to break in, it starts to feel good. It's the more break-in time, the better. As we further our conversation about the leather, it was pretty flexible towards the top of the shoe, but as you can see, you have your carbon fiber midfoot, so everything after that was pretty stable. Along with the materials, you had your tongue, which in my opinion was crazy hard. I mean, hella hard. I mean, damn. Every cut, it was like the tongue was digging into the top part of my ankle, and it was something that I could definitely notice. I really did try to overlook this, but understand, it didn't go away. Also, at some parts, the tongue would try to go down or like high, like I was hooping in a Jordan Retro 7. I hate when tongues get too low or as low as the mid part of your shoestrings. Like, that's a big no for me. Speaking of shoestrings, I must say they are very thick and much different from your usual lacing system, which in my opinion could be a good or bad thing, really depending on your preference. Me personally, I didn't like the thicker shoestring, but that doesn't mean you won't. Now let's talk about the cushioning. As far as cushioning goes, they went with what is called the Bounce cushioning midsole. Bounce supposedly has a higher rebound than your ordinary midsole and assists foot propulsion by providing a better resilience. Along with that, it's supposed to reduce loss of energy during dynamic movement as well. The Bounce wasn't as good as they tried to make it seem, and to be honest, it wasn't even good enough for the weight of the shoe. What I'm trying to get at here is, with the Kobe 8, you know, they with Lunarlon. Therefore, I was able to feel the Lunarlon better due to the fact that the shoe was lighter. The same with the LeBron 11, is a pretty light shoe. But with the Way of Way 2, they went with this Bounce cushioning setup, and the shoe was a little bit too heavy, so I wasn't able to feel it as good as they made it seem. Now let's get into support. As far as support goes, if we're talking about from a vertical standpoint, from forefoot to heel, then yeah, I was locked down. If we're talking about horizontally, then I must say I did have some pain in my medial area of my foot. The arch support on these were not good, which I know for a fact because I never felt this on any other shoe. Mainly found on my left foot, to be specific. It was like my foot wanted to come out of the side somewhat. The arch support could definitely be improved on these, but as far as overall lockdown, then yeah, I was secure. As far as fitting was good. Like I said, I was locked down. They also run true to size, so why get anything else? If you wear a 10, get a 10. Overall, besides the fact that these have premium leather and that the shoe made me 5'9", these really let me down. They are a little clunky. The tongue hurts like hell, and the traction on the court wasn't good at all. If you don't have good traction, you can't make moves like you want to. If you can't make moves like you want to, then you can't hoop like you want to. If you can't hoop like you want to, then you become trash. Therefore, I'm going to have to give these the trash rating. If they switched the traction pattern to your typical herringbone and made the tongue a little bit more soft, then this shoe would definitely get the job done. With that being said, I do realize that this is only the second model of this shoe, and I do look forward to the upcoming models, as I know that they will only get better. So that wraps up the performance test. I hope this helps. Remember, rule number 1, get buckets. Rule number 2, get buckets. Jay Jones, the Kick Genius, and I'm out.